Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a hillbilly pumpkin head, and it's that time of the year again when we think about fall things to carve, and so here in the camera I want to show you a finished one that we did the other day, or I did the other day, and this guy here is the piece that we're going to be working with today. This is basswood. It's 3/4 inch thick, and it's 3 3/8 tall by about 2 1/2, 2 1/8 wide. And so anyway, this will be in the description for you to print off and to have for your carving bench to try this fall. And so let's get started. We're going to start with our V tool, and we're going to separate the hat and the head features here first. And again, always safety first. Make sure you have your glove and tools buffed and ready to go. So we're going to start over here on the bottom of the hat and work our way around. Again, we're going to be doing a 90-degree angle on our piece here, and even on this flat piece of wood, we're going to create those features that we need to get to our nose and facial features like that. All right, now we're going to take our knife and we're going to score that, and we're going to make sure that our knife is good and buffed and ready to go also. So here we are making a stop cut, and always again watch where your fingers are because the wood of the grain could give away, and so we're going to score that again. And then we're going to take, whatever knife is comfortable for you, and we're going to start removing. And if your hat comes, our wood gave away a little bit right there, don't worry about that. That's going to be carved down after a while anyway. But we're wanting to try to create this 90-degree angle in our facial features here. And so, give me a smaller bladed knife, I have better control. And those of you that are starting out carving, try different lengths of blades to see what is for each project. One may work better than the other. Okay, so that's our first cut right there, is getting the head up into the hat. And so now we're going to just take the grunt work and start removing a lot of this real estate, and from the sides here to get pretty close to a 90-degree angle if we can. Now I'm hogging off quite a bit here. As we're going to drop that back a little bit. Again, the grain of the wood is vertical, running up and down, so that's always important to remember to do that. It's a lot easier on you and on your tools. You can see here we're starting to get a little bit of a peak here, and that's what we're wanting, because we're going to create our nose plane first, because that's going to, and our eye plane, because that's going to kind of determine the shape of this guy's face. And like I said, you could turn this into a necklace for somebody for the fall season, or a magnet, or a pin. All right, so we've carved off some real estate here. As you can see, there's quite a bit here in the camera that we've taken the V tool and created some depth there, shadow, where the hat brim would fit over the face area. And so we got it pretty close, as you can see, hopefully in the camera, and close as a 90-degree angle. This would be right there, the center line, so everything, remember, has a center. And so again, we're just going to take our pencil and just give you some reference lines, and we divide it in threes. Now again, we're going to exaggerate the features on this guy because he's got an overbite, and I'll show you how you get an overbite there here in just a little bit. Now we're going to start here. We need to set a foundation line for the hat and get it worked back a little bit too. And don't worry about your little band that I drew on there. You're going to re-pencil that in after a while. That's just to show you you can if you'd like. And again, because it's not going to go all the way around, it's just going to go halfway, because this is a pin or a magnet or a necklace or something like that. And so we're wanting to drop this, the stove part hat, I call it a stove pipe hat, and set it back from the brim of the hat. And so when I get that there done, then I can start removing some of the hat here and on the sides. And that little crook in the hat there, we'll put that in. Again, take your time. Make every cut count. And again, you want to watch that you don't get your brims too thin yet, because you're holding it and you're putting more pressure on that piece, and you realize, and you could break off more of the brim. And you know, so then you'd have to come in and reset that hat again, but it might be, you know, a good thing, but may not be either. So just be cautious of that there, that you don't get this brim too thin into the carving. And again, we're coming in, just removing the bandsaw cuts, because this is a cutout from the bandsaw. And these little marks are from the bandsaw blade when it's going through the wood like that. This is kind of like a little one-day project, weekend project, Saturday project, or Sunday afternoon project for you. And again, you know, don't make your hat so perfect. You know, put some indentions in it, and because it's just an old hillbilly hat, and sitting on a pumpkin head or a squash, whatever you want to call it. Could call them a squash head. Get right in here. I'm going to kind of do a swooping cut. There we go. Okay, I think that's good for right now. We'll come back to that. All right, now let's create the facial features on this feller. Get rid of the excessiveness there. All right, so we're going to come in and angle our cut, create the eye planes, and by taking your knife and doing that cut right there. Okay. Now again, watch, you know, if you need to take your hat back more, depends on the length of your blade. See how it almost hits the side there of the brim of his hat. So always be cautious of that, of the length of the blade that you have. Sometimes we wonder, well, where'd that cut come from? Well, because we weren't paying attention where the blade was going. All right, so now let's come down here to our rocking cut, which is the safest cut, creating the nose. Because again, if you come across, the wood could give away and go into your hand. You never know. So always be cautious of that. Now we're going to really exaggerate the mouth features on this thing, because he's showing this overbite that he has. Okay, so that's where we're at so far. Now you can turn this into an actual hillbilly if you wanted to, you know, human features on him. And all right, so now we're going to come in and create the bridge of the nose, and by coming here at the tip and moving our way to that eye plane there, and taking our knife and going up to the corner of that eye there, future eye. Okay, so we're about ready now to put in the bridge of the nose to start establishing the features of the nose, and this also gets us further down the road of, of our facial features on him. Getting the mouth, the expression of the mouth. The mouth has a lot to do with the expressions of the face. So all the eyes and mouth and nose, they all kind of work together in creating the expressions that everyone has. All right, now we're going to think about the hair. As you can see here in this piece, we've got a little tuck of hair that's coming out along the sides, and so we want to think about that next. And so we're going to start right about here. Now bring it down with our pencil, and again, this doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a reference line. And so then we're going to take our V tool and we're going to make our cut. Whatever V tool works best for you in this area, that's fine. All right, now we're going to come in and put our stop cuts in. Again, watch where that blade's going and watch your finger placement. Making our stop cut because we're going to sink in the sides and relieve this a little bit to where it shows a little bit of hair standing out. Now you can color this guy, paint him any way you'd like using the different colors, you know, of the fall. You know, I decided to do a dark green because it kind of, he's got a stem, really a pumpkin has a stem on his head on top of the pumpkin, and so I thought, well, we'll just use green here for the hair since he's a pumpkin guy or a pumpkin girl. I hope a girl don't have that big of an overbite. But anyway. Taking our V tool and cleaning up the sides, getting rid of anything that doesn't need to be there. Cleaning up underneath here, getting rid of any tool marks, because that's very important, because when you paint, even though a lot of people is not going to see a lot of that up in there, it's just good practice to learn to make good clean cuts, and using that V tool or knife to, you could even turn it over like this here and clean out the edges, carve out the edges of the hat and clean all that up underneath there, because the cleaner cuts you make also, it's going to be better on your brushes when you paint. Okay, so now let's take a soft V. This is a number 3/16 V or a U-gouge, whatever's easiest for you to use, and split the forehead there, and to create the division there that he has. All right, so now we're going to come in and make our smile lines, and we're going to create the wing by putting a cut here and then starting out here at the end of the smile line and working our way up to the crook of the nose, the wing of the nose. Now again, our three planes of the mouth, because it's very important that you keep the dental mound rounded, and it'll help your faces look more natural looking, even though it's an exaggeration here of a pumpkin. So I visit this quite often, come in, do my three planes. I hope that I'll show it to you here in a minute up in the camera here. But you can see here that we've got 1, 2, and 3 planes of the mouth. All right, now we're going to create now the bridge, the wings. And I just take my knife and there are some people who takes a U-gouge and goes in there and creates those. That's fine, whatever you like to do. Just make sure you put them in there. And we're gonna, size up his nose a little bit, get everything even the best we can. Now again, this is a pumpkin head, so not everything's perfect on it, All right, now we're going to create, now let's show here in the camera where we're at so far. All right, so we've got our hair in, and then we've got our nose plane and eye plane. So let's create the mouth, or the upper lip, and I'll just draw this on. And then you take your V-tool, whatever size of V-tool works best for you there, and create the upper lip, like that. Okay, now we're going to pencil in our teeth. And again, character carving is exaggerating features. And so I'm just going to put 3 teeth in, and at this time. So for us to do teeth now, I'm going to put a stop cut here on the upper lip, because he's taking his teeth and he's pulling his bottom lip up behind the teeth. So you're not going to see much of the bottom lip there. And so we're going to come in here now with our V-tool, and I'm going to create the teeth. Almost looks like a bottom lip. But now we're going to take this knife and put a stop cut at the bottom of his teeth. Now we might put a full set of teeth in here. Whatever. It's your carving. You do what you like. All right. And I'm going to exaggerate these lines down here. Bring these lines down more. And so now, to create the teeth, we're going to come and undercut there, and make sure that you have a good stop cut here. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Now let's come in and really deepen this here. He's kind of goofy looking. That's all right. That's what it's all about. Create your carvings to make people smile, or even maybe take a second look at your carving. All right, so now we're going to start tucking the teeth back under the upper lip a little bit. Do that to both sides. Start working on the outer edge of the teeth and working your way in, because we want those teeth to start standing out away from the facial, where the bottom lip would be at. And then now we can start kind of rounding these teeth off and start setting them behind the upper lip, because we got to get our teeth back in there a little ways. And again, don't worry if you don't get it right the first time. There's days that I have, things don't work out for me either. But you don't quit. You just keep at it. And eventually, there's just some things you just got to keep at it, and eventually it'll come. But be patient, and don't get discouraged by what you're not seeing. Just keep plugging in there, because eventually something good is going to come out of this. because the more you can't just be a good carver if you carve just once or twice a year. You got to carve every day, and if it's just 15 minutes during your lunch period, your lunch break or whatever, if you can, do it. Okay, now I'm going to come back and revisit our wings of our nose and our facial planes here in a little bit. Continue to work our way to creating this guy. Okay, so now let's come in and make him a little goofy looking. And we're going to put the first cut for the first tooth right there. Okay, hope you can see that. And then the other one. Make them big, This is an exaggeration. All right. Coming in here, cleaning out these little areas. Again, I'm going to go deeper here by the wing of the nose, because that will help that nose stand out even more by taking it off from the side. I don't know if you can see the difference there, but anyway, well, he's a happy looking guy even though he doesn't have any eyes yet, because the mouth has a lot to do with our expression. All right, so now let's come in on this side, remove that excess. See how it sets those teeth back in there when you do that? That helps out, makes it look so much better. Okay, now let's give that a break a little bit. Let's work on our eyes. We're wanting to create a smiling eye, and I've got a video on that if you ever like to see in more depth of that. But here on this guy, we're going to, because what we're creating here in a minute is the actual lids, not the actual eye itself, because really when you squint like this here, you're not seeing any of the eyeball. Okay. When you have someone who's really laughing hard, their eyes will have a tendency to close almost shut. All right, so what we're taking here is 3mm U-gouge. And we're coming in, and this is the deepest part of your eye is next to the tear duct. And so we make that a little deeper in here. And just work it in. Don't worry about the size of the nose. You'll dress that up after a while. All right. Then we'll come out here to the outer edge of this eye and create this soft arrow. And I'll stop and show you there. I'm working on this eye right here. And then I'm taking the U-gouge and coming in and connecting those two arrows that we just put in to create the mound of the eyelids. I don't want to go too deep out here because that will look not right, natural. All right, so now I'm going to come in here and just kind of dress things up a little bit. And then we're going to take a V-tool and bring that mound of those eyes out a little more. So this is going to be more of a distinct cut that we're making. And this is going to bring the eye mound out more. All I'm doing is taking a sharp knife and cleaning out the corners of things where the U-gouge went in. All right, now I'm going to take my knife and kind of just take off some of the edges of these cuts that I've made where it will almost, it'll look kind of like a mound there of the eye. Now this this takes practice too, and so I'd encourage you to take a piece of scrap wood and try smiling eyes, and it will really also enhance your carving by using those type of eyes also. Okay, let's make that a little deeper. Again, always watch where your tools are going. And I'm going to take the edges off here. I know it takes a little bit more work to create this, but I'm still learning myself, and hope that you're learning right along with me. If you're watching the channel, you haven't subscribed, well, we really appreciate your subscribing and liking and leaving a comment. Okay, now to create the split, to create the upper and the lower lid, we're going to take our pencil here and we're going to divide that line there. Put a line right in the middle and arch it just a little bit. Now to make the slit, you can do it either with a very sharp V-tool or a very sharp knife. And so I'm just going to use a knife here because I want to create a little shadow. So I'm just sticking the tip in where I start with the pencil line, and I'm just following that pencil line. And I'm scoring this. So I'm coming in and just easing it in. A couple of times. Now I'm going to come underneath the top of the eyelid, underneath it, and remove and create a little shadow there. You see there? Looky there. Isn't that neat? I think it is. And so practice this. This will really make a difference in your faces and how it just brings it to life. Now I want to come in using a smaller bladed knife and create the brow area. And where we can, if you want now on this, you can put some eyebrows on him or paint them, whatever. And then we're going to come in and exaggerate some things and soften things up here. Okay. Again, there's no sharp edges on the human face, even on the pumpkin. Just come in and little by little, inch by inch. Okay. Clean up this right in through here. It needs a little attention there. There we go. Okay. Creating that eyebrow bone area, that mound. All right, now let's jump across the bridge of the nose and do the other eye. Same cuts we're going in with our 3mm U-gouge, making a soft arrow shaped cut. Coming out here, doing the same thing here to the outer edge of the eye. Again, don't make this too deep, but make it deeper next to the bridge of the nose. All right, now we're going to connect. And that helps create the mound. I'll go just a little deeper there. All right. Take our brush, get rid of the little fuzzies in there and whatever. Get that nose a little bit downsized. All right, now let's take our V-tool. It's like a 1/16 V-tool or whatever V-tool will fit in here for you. And deepen the mounds of the eye to create this mound. Okay, gonna come in here now, and now you see there how I hit that there, so just come back and address it and knock it back a little bit. So watch where that blade's going. Okay, let's get in here and clean out all that there. Okay, taking our U-gouge, establishing a more better bridge here. Okay, so let's take our pencil and put our, let me get ahead of myself. Round this off a little bit, get rid of those sharp edges. So now let's take our pencil and starting here and creating that slit for the upper and lower eyelid. Looks pretty decent there. Again, this don't have to be perfect because it is a pumpkin, you know, and you might be sitting out there in the sun and starting to shrivel up a little bit. Taking our knife, putting our stop cut in, using the tip only. Looky there. Boy, what a happy guy. All right, so now let's continue right out here and put our crow's feet in by using our V tool. And that just adds a little bit more action to the face. Would put no more than 3 or 2 when you're doing these, all right? All right, so now let's work on this area here of the mouth and start dressing this down. If the wood starts tearing on you, stop and go the other way. Okay, now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to deepen this. Start right here, work our way back because the wood doesn't want to cooperate right there. Here we go. Again, we're just exaggerating things. Okay. Now, how to create the teeth, I take the wedge. You can take it out from the middle, or excuse me, from the sides of the cut that you made. To create those teeth like that. And we're getting close to being, just putting the final touches on this guy. And again, just carving is supposed to be fun, relaxing, and don't be discouraged by what you're not seeing. So just hang right in there and it'll come. But you got to carve to see the results that you're wanting to get. All right, so now let's take this one down a little bit. Because they're jagged teeth, you know, they're not perfect. They're not a new set of teeth. Okay, so let's set these back in there just a little bit more. Because when you do that, that makes them stand out from the bottom a little bit more. All right, I'll put this up here and stop for a little bit. Let you look at him. Ooh, look at from the side there. Those things are really sticking out. All right. Now you can really go deep here. I mean, if you want. I mean, just go deep. And okay, So now to create the ridges on the pumpkin that we have, that's on the pumpkin, I don't know what they call them, I just call them ridges on the pumpkin. And you can use a V tool to create more depth, or a U gouge. And to create the depth there that you need for that. So I'm thinking that we might use this, I don't know, it's just a 3/16 U gouge. And I come in here from the side. If it starts to fight you, stop and go the other way. Now when you're putting in like hair or ridges like this, follow through. Go all the way to the very end. Go all the way to the very end. And go all the way up. And barely touch the teeth there. And we'll undercut that a little bit. And that's going to create more depth in the area of here of this guy. Again, control, control, control. Because one trip to the emergency room will pay for a lot of gloves. So, okay, so let's make our stop cuts, get rid of those things there. Now see there how much that looks so neat in there. And you know, you can come in here and deepen things with your knife and whatever. Even make it deeper by making this V cut with your knife. All right, so let's put some hair in. And we're going to use the V tool, like a 1/16 V. And I like start working on the edges. And you may hit the side of the pumpkin, that's okay. You'll come back and just take your knife and clean those little areas up where your V tool bumped it. Get up in here, go the other way. Go up into the hat a little bit. Make short cuts, make long cuts, break that hair up in there. Like so. Okay, just like that there. That's right in here. All right, now let's go to the other side of his hair. That's coming off the side of the hat. Let's create the hair on this side. Hope you're having fun carving this. I've enjoyed carving this. Stop and go the other way. Follow through. I got back from a show a while back and I took a piece with me, and I entered in a competition I've never entered a piece in before, and I had the judges that was there critique my work, and I really appreciated their input. And so if you do go to shows or whatever, have the judges there to tell you, hey, how can I do better? What can I do different here to make my carving better? And most of the time you'll get some good feedback from those judges, and I really appreciated it very much. All right, so now I look it over and I see little things here and there I need to tweak, you know, to smooth out and whatever. And so now let's work on the hat. Let's give the face a break, and we'll come back to our stuff like this here in a little bit. All right, now you can leave the hat just like this here if you'd like, And but you know, put some, you know, like here on the side it's too thick here on the side, so let's dress that down. And I'll go ahead and put a band in this thing. That way you know how to put a band in a hat if you want to. But first I'm going to dress him down, so to speak. I guess that's the term we can use. All right, so now you can see here on the finished piece that we put the band there on the side, and you can make it as wide as you'd like and or narrow as you like. And again, this is just for reference. You don't have to do this. And so right about there, and there will be the buckle. Something like that there. Okay, let's take our V tool, let's do a 3/16 V, and let's start at the bottom of and lay it on its side. The reason why I'm laying it on its side is because it's going to set that band back further into the hat by laying it on its side. Instead of just me going straight, this automatically relieves it. And then we'll take our knife and thin this out here a little bit around the front. So, sorry about the sudden movement there. Get to carving. Carving, I get my own little world. All right, so now we're going to take our knife and relieve that just a little bit. If you want to, you can put a stop cut in ahead of time and then bring it down. Just like that there. Okay. Work up to the bottom of the band with your knife. Put your stop cut in. I'm working my way. I'm working against end grain there. It's a little bit ornery right in there. So be careful. Make sure your tool is good and sharp. Okay, so let's put some wrinkles in. Take in a knife blade and just put in a few of these wrinkles in. Now I have a video on how we do these wrinkles if you'd like to watch that in the videos that we have. And make it rough looking. Okay. Now let's make the buckle. We can come down with our knife on both sides. Then we can relieve that to make that buckle stand out away from the band of the, like that. All right, let's stop and show you here in the camera on where we're at on this guy. Okay. Now you can take a little V-tool here. Now I'm making my hole a little bit, the buckle hole, I guess you call it that little area right in here. And it wants to break away on me, but that's okay. And we're going to take our knife, stop cut the inside. Stop cut, stop cut. And then remove, because this would be part of the belt that's behind this. And then we'll get rid of our pencil marks, anything like that there. Again, you may have to go in here and revisit the inside of the buckle to make that deeper if you want, because that will be painted black in there. And I used a little metallic gold or an antique gold or whatever you'd like to put on the buckle here. Okay. Let's about ready to wind this project up. And again, we're going to come underneath here, clean up these areas underneath the brim of the hat, because it will be easier to paint. And then, you can come in here and put some, more wrinkles in his face, because he's out there in the elements and he doesn't have a nice looking face, sort of like. But just break it up. It's your pumpkin. Do what you like with him. Or squash, whatever you want to call it. You can paint the eyebrows on, or you don't have to put them on if you don't want to, whatever. But I think I will. I think it just helps it out. So I'm going to take our V-tool. Just put a few there. Show some action there. Okay, then he's got to breathe. That's important. And again, you don't have to put the little snot trough in if you don't want to, but I think it's kind of interesting to do that. So we'll take our 1/8 shallow gouge, come in and put in our breathing holes there for him. Clean out the nose. You might. All right, let's kind of look him over and kind of see what we need to do. Again, cut 2 or 3 or 4 of these out, do these right in a row, and you'll see a difference in the first one, and the second one, and the third one that you do. And so I hope that you've had fun with this project. I sure have, and we just think it's a little fun project, so I hope that you'll enjoy it. And so again, you can see here, you can paint him up, see how neat he looks by being painted. And anyway, so it'd be something fun to do on a weekend day. All right, well folks, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you liking, and leave a comment. Please subscribe. It helps us out so much. And again, I hope you've had fun. I've had fun also, and we'll see you real soon.